Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to week 3. So I am in the module 3, week 3, module 3. Let's take a look at what you've got going on. So you've got some lecture material to go through that you'll be um, quizzed on. So this is actually a really good one. This YouTube video, it's a TED Talk. It's a little cartoon about how to spot a misleading graph. I love it. I have used it so many times in my actual daily life since I started showing it to students. Definitely check it out. This is a good one too. Why facts don't convince people on what you can do about it. This is just a basic. So these are like quick little, good informative infotainment videos. This one is a writing review. As always, to download, you just click the three dots and pull up the PowerPoint. To do it in slideshow mode, you may have to enable editing, just so you know. Same with the logical fallacies presentation, which you will need to go through before doing the logical fallacies assignment for the week. Because you got to know those fallacies so that you can avoid that being hornswoggled by them and avoid using them in your own arguments accidentally, because they're unethical. It's not really winning if you have to cheat, right? Readings. Let's see what you got for those. Okay, you've got some integrating sources, readings in your Bedford Handbook, writing process, writing research arguments in arguing about literature. Oh, and then Bedford Handbook again, evaluating sources. So again, you are allowed to pick. I'm going to show you guys the databases and some sweet spots for that. If you did English 101 with us here at the college, you should be familiar with the databases. I know you're like, grown, but yeah, and you don't have to. But honestly, there's some really, really good places to check out, and you're going to have to use them for the second and third essay anyway. So I'm going to show them to you and just some sweet spots for places you can find like rock solid information. There's no chance that I'm going to say, hey, sorry, you can't use this. All right. Because like I said in the last video, I have had to do that with students. Be like, listen, I looked up this source and nah, that's a nah. Hard nah. I don't want that to happen to you. All right. Logical fallacies. You are going to talk, let's do Thursday. Okay. I'm going to put out the remind text for everybody. Well, you got to post by Thursday. You got to respond by Sunday. So just like your other discussions, you type it in the box. So what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about at least one argument you have heard that you feel like would fall into the category of a logical fallacy. So just as you're going through the presentation, just be thinking like, is this something people have tried to use on me before that I've heard people use? Doesn't mean that you don't love them. Like everybody's guilty of doing some of these some of the time, but you might hear one be like, oh, that is totally something my dad would do, or oh man, my best friend uses this one all the time and drives me nuts. So again, it could be one you've accidentally used yourself or one you've heard other people use in your actual life, or maybe you've heard it on television or however you get your media. Maybe you've seen people in social media arguments commenting on each other's YouTube videos and making these kinds of fallacious arguments. They're everywhere. Your initial post needs to be at least 100 words in length. And if you need a little more info on the fallacies, there's a top 10 video here too. So by Sunday, respond to at least 2 other people's posts. The response needs to be at least 50 words in length. Not, you can't just say like, great post, not enough. So a couple of people have already posted. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Pablo. So if you want to get in there and respond to them, you can. Oh, Logan's mom uses slippery slope. My mom does too, Logan. So don't feel bad. Moms really like slippery slope. We have a slippery slope way of thinking. We get anxious, we do. So don't be too hard on your old mom. I try to be mindful. My kid's not even 3 yet, so I don't I haven't had too many arguments with him yet that where there's actual, you know, a real exchange of ideas. It's just I brought him the wrong cup kind of a thing. All right. For Sunday, you've got another journal. This one is going to be a tentative outline. Tentative meaning that it is totally open to change. It may have to change based on the feedback that you are given by moi. And I'm going to go in and give feedback on your brainstorming as well. Not too much, because I want to make sure there's still a little room for the Holy Spirit, as they say, and that you're thinking critically and thinking about like, okay, how do I want to organize this and turn it into something that could be like an essay. But I might give you, some feedback like, hey, this is a lot of stuff. You may want to narrow it down to just like this point, that kind of a thing. So keep an eye out for that. I also posted an example outline for you from one of my previous students back in the fall. So you can get an idea of, it looks like this. I already had it up, but it's Word document. I took screenshots of it and I took his name off it. So this is the outline. So he's got his summary of the video here. He's got his thesis here. And notice the thesis breaks down into 3 points, right? I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, we're good. Okay. Robinson is correct. So see, he takes like we got a kind of neutral summary up here, very detailed, good stuff. Robinson is correct in saying that traditional schooling is killing creativity because, number one, significance of traditional subjects in, traditional schooling. 2, the assessments for academics. 3, the installation of fear being wrong. Agreed. People don't learn well when they're afraid. It's a well-established fact. Hopefully you're not afraid right now. Don't be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid. We'll get through this. You got this. Okay. So then he basically takes those 3 main points and those are the response points and drills it down in a little bit more detail. Okay. So he doesn't actually, I don't want the full essay from you yet. Don't turn, I'm like banging the side of my chair here. So just imagine me banging my fist. Don't turn in the entire essay, please. Okay. That's not, I don't want to see the whole essay yet. I want to see the plan for the essay so that I can give you feedback on your plan and then you can go. Now, if you're the kind of person who has to work backwards, some people are, I have to write this out. Okay, well then reverse engineer it into an outline and turn that into me. Okay. That sounds like more work to me, but if that's how you have to do it, then do it that way. It needs to be in an outline format. Okay, and it should not be the entire essay. I don't have time to give you feedback on the entire essay right now. I will do that later, right? In week 5. Okay. It'll happen, just not yet. One thing at a time. So response point 1, traditional subjects. He drills it down to some examples. Talks about creativity. So notice he's already done some research and beyond just the video, though he is mentioning specific things brought up by the video. But he's already done some research. This is a very famous academic researcher by the name of Bloom, called Bloom's taxonomy thing, if you've heard of that before. And then, yeah, so just like some ideas, but specific ideas, organized ideas. So we've got the Roman numerals, we've got the letters, and then if you need to drill it down even further, the numbers, right? So you can use this as your model. Okay, the one that's given to you in the assignment, it would not allow me to do any kind of indenting or formatting of any kind. So that's why it looks so garbagey. Thank you, Ultra. Introduction, which summary of the video, your thesis, response points. So it's got the basics there, right? Evidence and discussion, evidence and discussion, evidence and discussion. That's how we do it. Okay. And then generally like what your conclusion is going to be, but you don't have to write the whole paragraph. So just do what this guy did or something, close approximation, and you're in good shape. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you. I'll let you do that. And if you're picking the same video, don't worry. You don't have to like find a new thing. I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Sorry, I can't really give an example of something totally different, but also the same assignment. So just do your best to have your own. If you're like, I also wanted to talk about fear not being a good motivator, it's like, cool, say it that way instead of saying it the exact same way, and maybe have some different evidence and different source support. Like, that's totally fine. Okay, so I've already gotten some questions too about like, do I have to? Are you wanting me to just focus, like, zero in on exactly what the person talked about in the video and address their main points and support with evidence? Sure. Yeah, you could totally do it that way. You can just create, like, this paper can just be an extension of that argument, take their main points and then just give outside source support that they themselves do not have in their video. So I agree, and here's additional support to back up these points. Of course, you don't say I agree, you just say this person is correct, or this person makes an excellent point, or this person's position is valid or invalid. If you disagree, you're totally welcome to disagree. So you can do that. Or you can come up with different points that weren't necessarily discussed in the video per se, but are still related to what this person's talking about. So I've already been discussing this with a student in the class, and she was confused about it. And she said, I really wanted to talk about, I did the looks aren't everything video, and I wanted to talk about something she didn't talk about, which is race. And I was like, yeah, go for it. Go for it. That is not brought up in the video that I can recall. But if that's something that kind of bubbled up for you as you were watching, it, yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea is these videos are supposed to inspire further critical thinking on our part and like get us to see the world in a different way. But again, we can disagree with what they're saying too. Or maybe like that's something they should have touched on that they didn't. That kind of a thing. It's easy to say looks aren't everything if you got the kind of look that everybody likes, you know? So that was my beef basically with her position is like, well, that, you know, and she does address that. She does say, and I know it's easy for me to say as a model, but it goes the other way. People expect certain things from me because of how I look. Like it causes its own problems. So, you know, it's kind of like, well, you know, boohoo. But still, I mean, I get it. I take her point. I do. But also, it's easy to stand and say it looks aren't everything when you have everything that people like in looks according to society's standards, that kind of a thing. So, can you talk about things that weren't taught? The moral of the story. Can I talk about things that were not in the video? Yes. Yes, you can. As long as it's related to the general topic and you feel like it's an extension on that discussion, you are welcome to do that. Or you can do a mix. You could, you know, discuss a couple of things that were brought up in the video in greater detail and greater depth with more research, and then add in a third thing that like was not mentioned but you feel like should have been mentioned. That kind of a thing. Does that make sense? You can't answer, but I hope it does. If not, email me. Of course, you'll get feedback on all this from me, and I'll let you know if things are going in the right direction. That's what my job is. Okay, this is getting long. So post your outline. I'll give you feedback on that. How is it graded? I mean, it's really like, did you do what you're supposed to do? Like, do you have enough development and content? And I'm grading on the amount of effort and thought and development put in. Okay. How do I know? Well, I've been doing this a long time, so I've got a pretty good idea. So just do your best, and that's all I can ask. That's all anyone can ask. All right, so that's what you've got for this week. Let me show you the databases. Well, let me show you what you got in coming weeks real quick. Next week, you're going to turn in a works cited page for this essay. It is open to change. This is where I'm going to peruse your sources, let you know if they look legit, and if you're welcome to use them. If not, I'll let you know you have to go get some different sources. Maybe some are fine, some aren't. And or any issues with formatting as well that you'll fix. And then when it comes time for the actual paper, you'll turn in a perfect works cited page, have excellent sources. That's the idea. To help you, I have posted an example finished paper. It is the finished product of this student's, whose name wasn't Saul Students, and I just, you know, I don't think you'd be upset with me using it because you got a really good grade. And I think you'll see why. I'm not going to read this to you. I'm going to give it to you, but it's an example. I am going to go over it with you in the week 5 video. I'm going to show you like his structure. We're going to autopsy the paper basically. Organization, structure, citation. Make yours look like this and you're good kind of strategy. And then you're going to turn in a draft. You're going to get feedback from me in the form of a video where I go through your draft, blah, 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 fix this, change that, move this, get rid of that kind of thing. You fix it, you turn it in, you get the grade you deserve, everybody's happy. But this is just to give you a model going forward. Notice he's got a works cited entry for the TED Talk video. You're going to need one for yours as well. What should it look like? It should look like this. But he didn't use the database. Well, actually he did. This is from the databases. So with that, let me show you. Actually, I'm going to stop the video here and I'm going to make a separate video and I'm going to put it up separately. Cool. All right. Bye-bye. Have a great week. Go watch that video. Bye.